Saul "Canelo" Alvarez takes on Julio Cesar CHAVEZ Jr. live on HBO pay-per-view Saturday, May 6th, 2017. The fight will be at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the bout will be fought at a Canelo weight of 164.5 pounds. That's 164 and a half. It'll be Cinco de Mayo weekend, and we have two Mexicans, Alvarez from Guadalajara and Junior from Culiacan. That weekend there'll also be a boxing expo there, and also another Golden Boy boxing card on ESPN, maybe ESPN2, the night before Canelo versus Junior. So if you happen to be in Vegas, you got the Box Expo. A lot of former and current fighters will be there, talking with fans, signing autographs, sharing stories, all kinds of stuff in it. Of course, there'd be so much boxing related paraphernalia that you can buy there. Magazines, signed boxing gloves, championship belts for the big spenders, things like that. So that's the Box Expo, and also the Golden Boy card. I think it's going to be maybe at the Cosmopolitan the night before. So for those who can't make it to the fight, you definitely want to go to the Box Expo and to the Golden Boy card on ESPN. So good job, Golden Boy, for sure, for that weekend. So let's look at the tail of the tape. All right. Alvarez stands at 5'9", and he has a 70.5-inch reach. Junior is 4 inches taller at 6'1", and he has a 73-inch reach. Canelo has knocked out a higher percentage of fighters. He's knocked out 68% of his opponents to 59% for Junior. All right, so let's break it down. First, you have the headliner, Saul Alvarez Barragan. That's his full name, folks. Or Saul Alvarez, or Cinnamon, or Canelo, who's still technically the WBO champion at super welterweight or junior middleweight, depending on what part of town you're from. And he's 48 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw with 34 knockouts. He had a draw way back in his 5th professional fight with a guy named Julio Alvarez, who at the time was 3 wins and 5 losses. Canelo this is his 51st fight. But guess what? He's still only 26 years old. That's a lot of mileage, folks, but also plenty of experience. He was 44 wins and 2 losses as an amateur, so you might as well say that he's learned on the go, as he turned professional at the age of 15. The opponent, the A- side, Julio Cesar CHAVEZ Carrasco. That's his full name, folks. Or JC Superstar Jr., or Julio Cesar CHAVEZ Jr., or simply Junior. Young man turned pro at age 17. He only had 2 amateur fights, both of them against Jorge Paez Jr. And in case you lost track of him, you might be surprised at how many fights Junior has had. Like Canelo, he learned on the go, and his early career pretty much served as his amateur experience. So Junior's current record stands at 50 wins, only 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 32 knockouts. That's a lot of fights, folks. And he's 4 years Canelo senior at age 30. So let's take a look at each guy's strengths. For Saul Alvarez. Alvarez, he has power. He has 3 knockouts excuse me, in his last 4 fights. And when he gets into a rhythm, he's very accurate when he places his power shots. Very heavy-handed for sure. However, he's an underrated boxer. He picks his moments, and he's a solid counterpuncher. Excellent counterpuncher. He's also a very good body puncher, and he can put you away to the body, as he did in his last fight with Liam Smith. Alvarez can deal with pressure. If you look at fights with James Kirkland, Alfredo Angulo, and even to an extent with Shane Mosley, who was past it, of course, but still dangerous. Those guys apply pressure, and he dealt with it accordingly. Another strength, Alvarez, he has underrated defensive movement sometimes. Amir Khan referred to it as being a bit tricky. I think sometimes when he's hit, what people don't see is that he actually rolls with the punches, which could have been much worse if he didn't. And if you go to the Miguel Cotto fight, Alvarez was very crafty at times with his offense against Cotto. He also, and defensively for that matter, and he also has a killer instinct, which means he knows how to finish. If he gets you in trouble, he can end it. One thing people don't talk about, I think Saul Canelo Alvarez has a very good ring IQ, and people fail to mention that. Another strength is his experience. Yes, he's had about 50 fights, but it's the level of competition that's impressive. And he's been in there with, and I'm going to list the names he's fought in a row, but in descending order. Amir Khan, Miguel Cotto, James Kirkland, Erislandy Lara, Alfredo Angulo, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Austin Trout, Josecito Lopez, Shane Mosley, Kermit Cintron. I mean, that list is impressive. Some other names of note, Liam Smith. I guess I did go out of order a little bit. Liam Smith, Alfonso Gomez, Lovemore Andu, Matthew Hatton, Carlos Baldomir, and Jose Miguel Cotto. And no matter how many of those fights you thought he won or lost, that's an impressive list. You got to take your hats off. Let's look at Junior, Julio Cesar CHAVEZ Jr. One strength that I wanted to give Junior, but I can't anymore, was his activity. I mean, he used to fight at a torrid pace. With 1 year, he fought 11 times. Junior is very tall at 6'1", to 5'9" for Alvarez. He also has very good reach, 73 inches, as I mentioned. For the record, it's about 3 more inches than Alvarez. He's got decent power, and usually is bigger than his opponents on fight night. And he uses his size to impose his will on his opponents. Junior is an excellent body puncher, just as his father was. He's difficult at times to keep in range when he's pressing the action offensively. He has a solid chin and will not go down easily. He uses his size to attack opponents and break them down by landing up top as well as to the breadbasket. He can afford to give up rounds early before wearing guys down. If you look at the Sebastian Zibic fight, you can use that as an example. And no matter how many points he's down, he keeps coming forward looking to properly place a punch to get an opponent out of there, as he almost did with Sergio Martinez, who may have been saved by the final bell. Junior ran out of time. Junior also has good experience. He's been in with Andres Fanfara, Brian Vera twice, Sergio Martinez, Andy Lee, Marco Antonio Rubio, Peter Manfredo, Sebastian Zibic, John Duddy, and Carlos Molina twice. Yes, that Carlos Molina. That one. Now let's look at a few of the weaknesses of both guys. Let's start with the Cinnamon Man once again. Alvarez has had trouble with boxers and movers. He won't have to worry about that in this fight. No, sir. Junior is no Lara or Mayweather or Trout. Alvarez at times does seem to have problems with stamina. Now, it could be natural, or it could be related to the weight bully tactics, in my opinion, he's used when he abuses his body, in my opinion, to make the lower weight. As a result, I think his punch output and power go down in fights where a knockout seems feasible. He doesn't fight for portions of rounds, and you can back him up and score on him when this happens. Alvarez is also very flat-footed. Sometimes his feet seem to be in cement, a la Danny Garcia or Anthony Joshua. A fighter with quick footwork will give Alvarez some trouble, as we've seen. Unfortunately, Junior is not that guy. So let's take a look at Junior's weaknesses. One weakness that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has, but ironically might serve him well in this fight, is his willingness to fight on the inside when it's not necessary. Now, if that's his plan and it doesn't work, the question is, will he attempt to use his height, his size, his reach, as he should? He doesn't do that all the time, and it cost him. Of course, weight problems have been an issue in the past. He wound up fighting Fanfara at a higher weight, which backfired and showed him that, or showed us that he didn't put the work in to compete at a high enough level. He used the excess weight that he didn't have to lose to more than likely take shortcuts in training. And speaking of training shortcuts, Junior has skipped training days in the past, and one weakness may be, another weakness, I just off the top of my head, now that I mention that, might be just be his dedication to the sport. And going back to making weight, as I stated, this will be at the CANELO weight of 164.5 pounds. Will Junior have the dedication to make the weight? If so, will he have the energy? Or will making the weight drain him too much for this fight? So let's look at some intangibles. The first intangible has to do with that weight. Now, he's brought in a team to help him with that. Can he make the weight? That's the first question. The second question is, if he does, or even if he fails trying to, how is he going to be on fight night as far as stamina because of losing the extra pounds? Now, at this point in the video, there's a picture that I want you to look at. Junior looked like, for lack of a better term, a crackhead in the photo that should be on the screen right now. I thought, when I saw this screen, I thought two things. Was it just one of those camera angle shots that made him look that way? Or was it a true photo? I took it for what it was worth as a true photo, and I thought, you know what? Junior's in trouble. But never underestimate Angel Heredia, as you see in the picture that should be showing now on the screen. After getting in the program with Heredia, Junior looks like a diesel truck in this picture. I mean, it's like night and day if you compare the two photos. And I'll leave a link to both photos, so if you want to put them side to side on your monitor or something, it just, guy looks like a diesel truck right now. So both guys, as I said in the weaknesses, both guys suffer a bit in the stamina category. So the question is, does it cost either guy in this fight where stamina may come into play? So what does each guy have to do? Well, in order for Junior to win, I like to see him start out trying to use his jab just to set a tone early on. And if he finds success with his jab, he needs to keep that stick in Canelo's face and double it up and triple it up while taking a side step immediately after throwing the jab, and then come over the top with that right hand. Or do the jab, do the right hand, do the left hook, the 1, 2, 3, and then kind of try to take a step to the side. I think there will be plenty of body punches thrown in this one, and that's right up Junior's alley. He's an excellent body puncher. You got to give him that. And he'll have opportunities to throw it, if only because both fighters will be coming at each other with the pride of Mexico at stake. So I look for a fight that I think that pride is going to force both fighters to kind of want to mix it up in close quarters. In other words, it could be a fight of attrition. The weight. Does Angel Heredia have the magic so that Junior will not be weak at 164.5 pounds? And then the day after? And we'll see. He's brought in Nacho Beristain to train, which I think was a good decision, and we'll see what kind of plan they have. As far as weight, Alvarez shouldn't have a problem at all. Plus, Junior isn't active like he was, and he'll be coming in having only fought about 5 times in the past 4 years. Now, for some people that works, but not for Junior. I'm concerned with all the time off. How tuned in, how focused will he be for this one? Now, if he is, then Canelo could be in a bit of trouble. If Junior is focused and not weight drained, we could have something nice on May 6th. And I think, at least early on, Junior's going to come to party. He's going to come to party early on. He's going to have the fans waving their flags, and we'll see. Junior must put massive pressure on Saul Alvarez. The problem is, Junior isn't a big time pressure fighter. I mean, he'll try to walk you down, but he really needs to apply pressure. And if he elects to do so, and he doesn't find pay dirt, stamina could become an issue for him. Do they make the adjustment, and does he back off and give more token pressure where you're using your advantages? The reach, the height. And if you're inside, lean on him. Now, I hope that scenario is true, and if so, I'm telling you, Chavez Jr. is going to be a huge problem on fight night if he's able to be focused and not weight drained. For Alvarez to win, he must box. He's the better boxer, and that's what he should do. Pick your shots, mix it up, throw to the head, work the body of Junior. You got the hand speed, and the bit of athleticism that you do have. I believe it's more than good enough to carry you in spots in this fight. Throw to the head, work the body. Canelo's seen so many different styles in his career that he should be prepared for Junior, except for the weight deficit that he'll probably face on fight night. So once again, it'll come down to the stamina. More so with Junior than Canelo. While Junior is the bigger man, I'm not sure he's the bigger puncher. I gave you the percentages. He's knocked out 59% of his opponents, Alvarez 68%. Alvarez punches are fast, they're sharp, they're crisp, and they can catch and drop you quickly. Junior's punches are more of an accumulation of shots landing in the same spots and eventually hurting you and getting you out of there. So what happens? The risk for Canelo is this. In an effort to appease fans, the Mexican fans especially, does he find what you call fool's gold, which keeps him in the pocket, working inside, going to the body, but at the same time, thus putting him in range for the bigger Chavez to kind of lean on him, put his weight on him, and to land body shots of his own. So, is it fool's gold? Who knows? My gut says that Junior is live early on, and it's going to be a tough fight. But eventually, I think that Canelo's going to start figuring it out. He's going to start picking Junior apart. I'm not sure he'll get a stoppage, but I think he's going to hurt Junior to the body and maybe even bust him up top. Alvarez will stay in the pocket for parts of the fight. He'll use his faster hands and combinations and get a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. He'll make Chavez Jr. miss inside with some slick defensive moves that you didn't know he had in his arsenal. Trust me. I just think it's the wrong weight and the wrong time for Junior. That's what my gut tells me. I just think it's the wrong weight, the wrong time. I think this is more of a money fight for Chavez Jr. And I just think it's the wrong weight and the wrong time. Canelo caught him at the right weight, the Canelo weight, and the right time. The bigger issue for me is what happens after the fight. And I'm not talking about if Junior passes a post-fight drug test, or if he even shows up for it. I'm talking about Team Canelo pulling the wool over people's heads long enough. You say you aren't a middleweight. Then you fight this borderline light heavyweight opponent at super middleweight. You make sense out of that. If Saul Canelo Alvarez wins, then the time has come for Gennady Golovkin. He must fight Golovkin next if he wins. And it's okay, Canelo. Golovkin will be 35, going on 36 by the time you guys fight. So, maybe once again, you'll catch a guy at the right time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Fight Journal. It's absolutely free. We don't ask you for any donations. We're going to be giving away some prizes very soon. And one of the requirements is that you be a subscribed member to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at The Fight Journal, and make sure you check our website out. Type your email address in, and all the videos, all the audio, all the interviews, press releases, everything that we post on our page, a lot of which don't happen in these videos, you'll get them in your email, so you'll stay on top of things. I'll catch you in the next one.